Dan, another great weekend of rugby league has been and gone. The highlights, the lowlights, the breaking news. But there's Dan's news. What have you got for us, buddy?
Let's start with the big one. No jokes this week. Shaun Johnson has announced his retirement. One of the legends of rugby league. I'm going to hand over to you. What are your thoughts? Is it time? What's he standing in the game? Just give me all your Shaun Johnson thoughts.
I think it's a year too late, but SJ will always be a favourite of mine. He was, outside of Benji, he was a human highlight reel. So much fun. Could score a try from nothing. Broke Cronulla's heart so many times. Came to Cronulla and broke other teams' hearts. Was brilliant for New Zealand. Got them into a World Cup final that looked like they weren't going to get to in 2013. Stepped through very feeble English defence. I still remember it to this point. I love him. I think he's great. I think he will be remembered for a few negative things in terms of, when the going gets tough. It was always the same. When the going gets tough, Shaun Johnson got going, but not in a good way. But when he came to Cronulla, man, I can't begin to tell you how stoked I was. I enjoyed watching him play. I still loved watching him play now. I thought last year he was absolutely mugged off of a Dally M medal. And I need to reverse that now because a legend of the game has retired. His standing of the game, look, I don't think he's going to be an immortal of the game. But if they ever introduce a Hall of Fame, he's had a Hall of Fame career.
100% agreed. I think they're starting Hall of Fame because I got a little bit on that just a little bit later. Hold your breath. I don't agree that he went a year too late. It's a shame because he's fallen off a little bit this year, and I think coming back from an injury, I don't think he hit the ground running as he'd hoped, and I think he realised, hey, I can't do this anymore. And he's not a young man anymore. But last year, if he'd retired on what was a Dally M winning season, let's be honest, Callum Ponga played well for about 8 weeks. Shaun Johnson played well for about 16 or 17. That would have been a shame to see him go out like that. I'm glad he got to finish his career at the Warriors, although I'm a Sharks fan, and when he came to Cronulla, he had one exceptional year, one okay year, and one pretty poor year. I'll take that because the exceptional year dragged us to a final series that we quite frankly didn't otherwise deserve. I will always look upon him as a legend. I think all the negativity, and then there is some there. You can't accuse him of being a big game player on the regular. He had some awful games when the pressure got on. But I think that'll be forgotten because you want to talk about highlights. Shaun Johnson is the highlight. I think it goes without saying that he's the best ever New Zealand's ever produced. I know there's been some legends, and I know Stacey Jones sits right up atop. I think Shaun Johnson, what he did for the Warriors, what he's done for rugby league, what he's done for the Kiwis, just makes him the best of the best. I'm sorry to see him go, but I didn't want him to play on next year and damage his legacy because right now, Johnson's probably a top 5 player in terms of enjoyment I've seen when I put it to the fact that he always took Cronulla apart. He took our pants down that day when we should have just kicked to the corner, and he ran 60 metres untold, beat about 55 players and scored. He could have done a loop-de-loop and a backflip and scored. He was that bloody good. Sad to see him go, but what a man.
Yeah, well, we get to say that we've enjoyed 3 of the best Kiwi halves of all time in Stacey Jones, and as Stacey Jones exited his peak, we got Benji Marshall, and as Benji Marshall exited his peak, we got Shaun Johnson. And between the 3 of them, they've brought just so much joy. I can't begin to express how good Shaun Johnson was to watch, how bad it was when he cut your team apart, how great it was when he played for your team. And then recently we've been on the wrong end of some Shaun Johnson brilliance, like last year when Cronulla scored the first try and he just decided that he would score 44 unanswered points like that.
Brilliant. So Shaun Johnson, amazing career. Look forward to the next few weeks. We'll be there to say goodbye to him when he comes to Shark Park. Sounds like a lot of fans that aren't Cronulla fans have snaked some tickets to cheer on Shaun Johnson. That says everything about his standing in the game.